I'm Xanderwood. I make indie games and tutorials on game development. I also play your indie games every week on my channel. Make sure you subscribe and click that bell icon so you never miss a video.
So the task for round 4 was to create a customizable experience.
Another round of GDKO is in the history books, folks, and boy oh boy is the competition heating up. This round saw 2 devs who have been at the back of the pecking order in previous rounds come from nowhere and grab a top spot. But more on that soon. The task this round was to create a customizable experience. This could have been a new game or modification to an older game. You could have continued to work on a project from a previous round of GDKO. You didn't even need to create a game, just something that the player could tinker with. The more freedom to tinker, the higher the score. Now let's take a look at how the community voted. For the first time in the competition, we had a joint winner. Both Yanni Boy and Fennec Fu Games placed first. But I'm going to have to put Yanni Boy's name at the top because his game, Editor, placed first in all 3 judging categories. Yanni Boy is no stranger to the upper sections of the GDKO rankings with multiple entries in the top 10. Yanni Boy took a cool 10th place in round 1 and 7th in round 2 and 3. This time Yanni Boy created a level editor that the player could use to build a level, and boy was it good. You could place blocks, traps, enemies and treasure chests, which represented the goal. The art and design were fantastic and the whole experience was well polished and very enjoyable. Fennec Fu Games is working the way up the ranking table from a round 1 position of 42nd, dropping 1 place in round 2 to 43rd before a surge to 14th in round 3, and now joint top with a pixel avatar maker where you get to customize your character. Pick from an array of different colors and styles until you get it just Taking the final top performer spot in round 4 is Dev Pirates with a similar story. Dev Pirates ranked 41st in round 1 before climbing 10 spots to 31st in round 2. Round 3 they only just missed out on elimination, taking the last qualifying spot at 36th. It just goes to show, anything can happen. In round 4, Dev Pirates made a fantastic game that lets you literally customize the entire game and gameplay. Pick your level, your character class, your enemies, and even the objective of the game. Tons of fun and definitely worthy of a top 3 spot.
Launch ball.
Aside from an 8th place finish in round 1 for the game Humant, Prince Galador has been quietly coasting through the round with finishes in 18th and 13th place respectively. Round 4 earns PG their best rank to date, with a joint 4th finish of their entry, Breaking My Art, a fantastic breakout clone where depending on the blocks you destroy, you can alter everything in the game, including the language. Also in joint 4th, with entries such as Spirit Void and Hardwired, it's not hard to believe that we have an emerging contender in Federico Calchera. Although Federico hasn't cracked the top 3, finishes at 17th, 11th and 5th, and now 4th, suggests that perhaps the best is still to come. Like Yanni Boy, Federico also opted for a level editor. Pick from platforms, traps and enemies, create a level and go beat it. Down 4 places to 6th. From round 3 is Endmark Games with Captain Gary's Gigantic Galactic Asteroid Adventure. Endmark has been knocking these entries out of the park, and his round 4 entry is no exception. The game is essentially an asteroids club, but you can sell the rocks you destroy for cash and purchase upgrades. Everything from tighter controls to a fancy new radio. The longer you play, the more you'll upgrade the game, and come the end, you'll be amazed how different everything looks. Spoonsweet is quickly becoming a household name in GDKO, and for good reason. His game Beekeeper is certainly keeping him in the competition. Spoon also opted for a level editor, a seemingly popular choice amongst the devs still in the competition. Select from a large array of items from the original game in this sandbox style editor. Spoonsweet placed 13th in round 1 and 2, 18th in round 3, and like those previously mentioned hits, a new high of 7th in round 4. Edoxil is becoming something of a dark horse in the competition with his entry Super Duper Part 4. Edoxil takes 8th place in round 4 with previous finishes of 51st in round 1 and 2, before coming into his own in round 3 Story Task earning 7th. It seems a place inside the top 10 is becoming something of a habit. In round 4's entry, Edoxil has given the player the ability to adjust literally anything from the player and enemy skins to the volume and even the song choice. Taking 9th is Game Favorites. Game Favourites started the competition with a 36th place entry in round 1 with Dungeon King, before ranking 33rd and 17th over the next 2 rounds. I'd say everything is moving in the right direction for Game Favourites, and his round 4 entry is definitely worth writing home about. You're about to have a fight, but unlike other games, you can control all the stats and levels of the character before you start. I guess the only question is, how hard can you make it and still win? Grabbing the final showcase spot for the video and a newcomer to the top 10 is Will Reardon with the game Custom Defense. Will has been flying under the radar until now, skimming through the rounds, starting with a 67th placed entry in round 1 with the game 2D top-down player. In round 2, Will gave the character a grapple hook, and that was enough to earn 56th place. In the story-based round, Will submitted Blackout, earning 24th place, so a jump to 10th is certainly something worthy of recognition. Now you're here, Will, the question is, can you stay? Now let's quickly roll through the 11th to 25th placed entries and see who will be at risk of being eliminated. In 11th, Derpy Dino. 12th, Epic Noob 1004. 13th, Charcoal. 14th, JJ and Friends. 15th, Turquoise Moon. Joint 16th, R3 Games and Games HQ. 18th, Vandervash Generator. 19th, Pong Games. 20th, 890. 21st, Winged Wolf 123. 22nd, It's 9 510. 23rd, King Jam. 24th, B-Bomb 11, and the final qualification place in round 4 goes to 25th, Mighty Jaw. Can you believe we almost nearly missed out on the next installment of the Randy 3000 saga? That means unfortunately Alexio Games, Noah Haslan and Sleeping Forge are all at risk of leaving the competition, and that positions me perfectly to hand over to our GDKO judges. And before we continue with the video, just a massive shout out to my wonderful Patreon and YouTube channel members: Foozle CC, Zanjet, Simon, Mario Lewis, Lightning Cat, Olivia, Bernier, Seth Coble, Retro Galaxy, Fan Van, Rob, M Mark Games, Twilight Sanderson, Jared Demont, Martin K, and 60 Plus Game Dev. For more information about my Patreon and what's on offer, there is a link in the description. This round, the judge picking the wildcard will be Wadeep. Wadeep has a YouTube channel and makes games, devlogs and other great content. Wadeep uses Unity and likes watermelons, and in his spare time uses pigeons to create video games, and for the next few moments he'll be sending 2 devs out of the competition.
Thank you, Xanderwood, for having me as a guest judge, and I'm gonna be playing 3 games and decide which ones makes the cut for the next round of GDKO. Okay, so this is the game. In terms of customizations, I can change the color of the mushroom. That's something. And yeah, basically that's it. You can customize the terrain by destroying parts of the ground. It's not really a customizable experience. I mean, it's gameplay. The game is not random. I kind of understand how it works now. I've had some troubles understanding in the beginning, but I guess it's pretty polished, so good job Alexio Games for making this. And the third game I have to play is Cheat Module by Sleeping Forge. The game, there is not much gameplay, like I can move, there is not a real goal, but what it does have to its advantage is that it does provide a pretty cool customizable experience. Like, I really like the concept of changing the size of my of the enemies. It's janky, there's some jank to it. Once you bring them to 0, you cannot bring them back. I'm guessing it uses multiplication with the current scale, and I don't like the use of rigid bodies that's being done here. But the customizable experience, it's probably the best of the 3 games, and I can also select multiple enemies, and that's something that is pretty cool, honestly. I think this provides a very good concept and the most customizable experience out of the 3. So I'm giving my win to Sleeping Forge. Yeah.
Well, we've come a long way and lost so many great devs. Only 26 remain, and this is where things are getting serious. In round 5, we'll be losing 50% of the devs still in the competition. That's right, 50%. The remaining devs will be numbered 1 to 26, and you'll each be matched at random with another developer still in the competition. All you need to do to progress is rank higher than your opponent. There is one catch: you won't find out who your opponent is until after the rating period of round 5. Pairings will be done at complete random using a random number generator, and I'll be recording the process and sharing the results with you in the next video update, so you can see that there's no funny business going on. If your opponent fails to submit, you'll automatically progress to round 6. And as always, one of the GDKO judges will be back to pick a wildcard from those that were eliminated. This round is the classic recreate round, and as the name suggests, you're going to need to recreate a classic game from the past. We're going back to the 1980s, on the Atari 800 XL, a computer that I owned. In 1986, Bug Bite Software Limited released a game called Leaper. Leaper is based on the game Jumping Jack, where you have to get to the top of the screen by jumping through the moving gaps in each platform. The goal is to reach the top of the screen 6 times. With each completion, a letter from the word Leaper lights up. You have an energy bar that decreases if you touch the sides of the screen. Don't jump up through the gap cleanly, fall down a gap cleanly, or fall down a couple of levels. Once the energy bar is empty, you'll lose one of your 5 lives. There are also various creatures moving along various platforms, and if you touch these, you'll lose a life. Your task is to recreate this game. You'll be primarily judged on how polished your game is. Don't worry if you've never played the original, as long as the core essence of the game is there, feel free to put your own spin on things. Just make it good. Other judging criteria will be art and visuals, sound and music, and technical implementation. So bear these things in mind. For this task, you'll have 2 weeks. The jam will run from the 11th of March until the 25th, followed by the standard voting period. Good luck, and I'll see some of you again in round 6.